Hello friends, I'm Mala and today I'm going to show you what I call it as my I love sewing, and it's a carry-all bag. It's got lots of pockets. It's got pockets in the front on both sides, and it's got pockets inside, and it makes a wonderful gift for a friend because it uses very little fabric, and you can finish making the whole bag in maybe a couple of hours, or if you're a bit slow, maybe about 3 to 4 hours, but definitely only for an afternoon. And you can fill it up with goodies, or you can, as I put it, like it's a Valentine, so if you love your friend who is a sewing partner, you could definitely make something for her like this and improve your sewing abilities, because we're going to show you a lot of fun techniques to use when you're making this bag. Okay, so let me introduce you how we're going to go about it. So this bag actually takes 3 fabrics. One is your top fabric, one is your lining fabric, and one is for the handles. So I did a mix and match. So you need 1/3 yard, that is about 12 inches of the top outside and the inside fabric. So 1/3, 12 inches of this, 12 inches of this, and 1/4, that is 6 inches of the handle fabric. So, and you also need a stabilizer, which can be either a woven or a non-woven one-sided fusible. I'm using a woven because it's cotton fabric and I like to use that. And this also you need 1/3 of a yard. So this is the only, so it's very small requirement to make a very utility friendly, like you can use a lot, put a lot of things in it, and a very good gift for a friend. You can even personalize it, you can embroider or embellish it, do whatever you want with it, and the sewing technique is so fun. So let's get started. I have cut my pieces as an example. So the cutting is very quick and very easy. There are only 3 sizes to cut. So you cut a big rectangle of 6.5 by 10.5. Then you have 5 pieces of 4.5 by 10.5, and you have 2 pieces on the side, which will form the shape of the bag, which is this portion. So you have this 4.5 by 6.5. So there are only 3 sizes, and the top and the lining is the same cutting, and only the stabilizer, you use stabilizer for the top, you don't use stabilizer for the pockets. So I'm going to come back showing you how to fuse. So this is the top, which I have already organized. So I'm going to today construct this bag in front of you all. This is the cutting and how it looks with another combination. So this is how I have organized for this class. So you need to stabilize the top of the fabric, outside of the fabric. So this makes if you see, it is already making a lot of sense. If I join all this, it becomes the one side of the bag. These are the pockets which go, I'm just mixing and matching so that it blends very well. And this we're just going to stitch. So I'm just, no stabilizer in this, we're just going to stitch it and fix all of it like this. So I have laid for my both the top side and the lining side. So the lining is the same as the top, but there is no fusible or any stabilizer in the lining. And of course this is my handle. First part of the sewing is the pockets. So we have two pockets for the lining and 2 for the top outside pocket. So I'm just going to stitch along the long side of all of them and turn it right side out, and that is what I will be doing right now. and I will come to you after I finish sewing this. Okay. Along only one side, and you're going to turn it down. Now I'm going to open the seam only because I'm going to fold it and I'm going to edge stitch it at 1/8. So I'll do one and then I'll do the same for the rest. So if you're a tool person, the wooden iron is a very useful tool here because it keeps it nice and flat. And then I'm going to align it again. I'm using my patchwork foot to get a 1/8 stitch. So you're zooming, you can zoom it. So this is where I'm aligning so that I get exactly a 1/8 stitch on top of on the stitch. On the edge, and this is 1/8. I have used my foot to give me that 1/8 look, and then I'm going to do the same for all of the others. So now you take your pocket, which is sewn on the one side, and I've edge stitched it, and lay it exactly on top of the outer side. I'm mixing and matching. I'm not using the same fabric, just to give it a little more character. So it is the top. This top is 6.5 by 10.5, and this is 4.5 by 10.5. So you lay both of them on both your top and your lining. And then we're going to mark. So the measurement for marking the pockets is, I will mark 3¼ inch from the outer edge inside, and 3¼ from the outer edge and inside, and I will draw my line. So I'm using a friction pen which goes away by heat. So 3¼ and 3¼ and since I'm at it, I'll do for the lining also. So there is no stabilizer for the lining. So I like to put my clover clips in these, or you can pin it, whichever goes well with you. So we're going to stitch over this line, and on the top I would like to do a reverse stitch just to give it more stability. So I have sewn the pockets, and before we assemble the bag, we need to go and we have to construct our make our handles. So I'm going to go ahead and make our handles. So this is the bag. Pockets are facing out. So this is my front, and this is the back. We will start constructing the bag after we finish our, so this is the pockets facing outside. So let me go ahead and construct the handle. For this I will go to the iron, and we're going to iron the first side of the handle, and then we'll be back. So we get a nice sturdy handle. So I have ironed it, and now I'm going to edge stitch on both sides 1/8 inch, and then we have our handles ready, and then we will go ahead and construct the bag. So I'm going to edge stitch on both the sides. Again, I'm using only my 1/4 inch foot, and I have a marking for my 1/8, which is the inner notch. So I'll align this edge along that edge, and then that's it. I get my 1/8. So you can use an edge stitch foot also if you have, and I will show you how to use it in my next when I stitch the edge. Okay. Well, it needs a little bit of guidance to push it inside. The handles are ready. I'm going to cut it at 16 inches for the measurement of the handles. So I'm going to take 16 inches. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, and 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So now is the time to put put the bag together. So you have the front of the bag which has got the stabilizer, and the inside of the bag which doesn't have the stabilizer and the handle. So the stitching is the same for both. So I'm going to turn it around so that you can see that the pockets are facing out. Facing out, and this is the bottom, and these are the sides. So I have sort of changed my pockets for the inside and the outside just to give it a little more character. So now the pocket facing outside, I'll take this and I will join the bottom. And what I have to take care here is I don't start at the edge, but I do a 1/4 inch. I start leaving a 1/4 inch, go out and finish before a 1/4 inch, because these two side panels are going to be inserted as a Y seam. So I'm going to show you that. So let me go and stitch these two together, and then I will continue with the sides. Wonder clips, very, very, very useful. If you're not having one of them, this is a very good investment because it's like the third finger. It just holds everything so cleanly, and it has got markings also. So if you want to hold it at a 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch, you can, and up to 1/2 an inch. I'm just going to hold it on the sides. And we're going to leave a 1/4 inch, and then we're going to start sewing. So the foot has got 3 notches. One is along the needle, and one is 1/4 inch behind, and one is 1/4 inch forward. So I'm going to align this edge to the back notch of the marking. The marking, what I mean by the notch is the marking on the foot, and that's it. So this notch is aligned to the edge of the foot, and I have left 1/4 inch, and I'm going to start sewing. And as this notch comes to this edge, I'm going to stop. So that is the notch, and it has to touch my edge, and that is my 1/4 inch. I'm going to stop there. So that's it. I'm going to do the same thing to the other pocket. So now this pocket faces outside, and then we turn it over, and again I'm going to put my needle at the 1/4 inch away from the edge and create that comfortable Y seam, which we will do later on when we do the sides. So I'm again aligning it with that back notch. There we go. So that's it. So checking that all the pockets are in the correct side, and now we need to fix these two sides of the base. So I'm going to push this behind all the way and hold it with my wonder clip so that it doesn't get caught in between. And then right sides together. And similarly I'm going to do to this side also. I have pulled it back, and now I'm getting my 1/4 inch here, so you can put a wonder clip here and here. And again we're going to sew from a 1/4 inch all the way back. and we're going to turn it and then sew the sides. Again, that 1/4 inch we have to set it inside and start. So you can see I have to keep this clear and then hold it there, and that's my 1/4 inch starting point. And then we will take it to the machine, look at the notch on the back side, and it will align exactly where we have to put our stitch. And the other side. So again, align it where we have given it the room for the 1/4 inch. See, pull that out, turn it around. You can see your stitch as a reference because we have left that 1/4 inch there, and align it again to the back of your foot. And if you don't have these markers, you just have to put a point dot there, something like that. Use clips, use your markers, use pins, whatever makes you comfortable to get the position of your fabric before you sew. So you see, we have got that side fixed. So go ahead and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we've done the back. I'm going to turn it inside out. We will cut the corners before we top stitch it. That will be the last stage. But I just want to show you that it is taking shape and it is going to be very beautiful, and how fast it was. So it has, that was the outside of the bag with the 2 pockets, and now we'll do the same thing with the inside. So I'll finish that and I'll come back. The outside of the bag done and the inside of the bag done. And there was one thing I have to mention. On the inside of the bag, we need to have an opening of say 2 inches or 3 inches, just a small opening, so that once we stitch all of it together, we can turn the bag inside out. So in the lining section, just make sure that you have a small opening, and then we are good to fix the handles now and proceed with the final construction of the bag. So now this is 1 inch. So we measure 1 inch from there and then position it there, and I have to pin it or a wonder clip. That's your first position. Clip it. Similarly, make sure it is not turned. 1 inch, hold it, and put the wonder clip. So now similarly on the other side. Now sort of you have a yardstick. Match it to the other side, or again measure into it and then turn it 1 inch from the side, hold, and that's your and it matches. And you hold it with the wonder clip. So now that's your purse, and that's your lining. So now right sides together, you put the right side of your bag into the lining, making sure that your handles are between the two, and you match the edges. And as you do it, you can clip it so wherever the handle is, I'm just going to open up and hold with my same clip. So there you go, it's snug. And now we're going to stitch all the way around at a 1/4 inch, and we're almost done. So now I'm going to turn the bag inside out, and the only thing that is remaining is to edge stitch the entire bag so that we have a nice standing bag. It stands well only because of that edge stitch, and I'm going to use the edge stitch foot. So now we're going to remove this bag out from here. So edge stitch foot is foot number 10, D, or just 10 if you don't have dual feet in your machine. These are for the Bonina machines. For other machines, if you can change your needle position, I will show you that also. Or use your 1/4 inch foot and stitch to the edge of the thing to give it a, you don't need a 1/4 inch seam, you need just a little less than that, maybe a 1/8, and then it makes your bag stand out. So I'm almost done. So before I put it inside, I'm going to just sew this edge. You can iron it. I'm going to iron it. And I'll be back and I will stitch that opening, and then we will do the edge stitching, which will complete the bag. So the edge stitch foot is, you can align. So I have a 10. So align this, and the needle position I'm going to take 1 to the -1, just 1, so that I just catch the edge of it. So it has stitched exactly at the edge where I wanted, and I've just done a -1, and I have ironed all my seams. So this goes inside, and again I'm going to give it a good iron so that, and then we stitch all the edge all along so that it gives us a nice box like look. Edge stitch foot makes your life really easy. So I have to align it exactly where I want, and then I'm going to do it at -2, my needle position, or probably 3. -3 is better. And then I'm going to my top stitching. So what the edge stitch does, the foot, how it helps, I would like to share my understanding with you all. So the foot is a big foot and it has a guide. So keeping the advantage, using the advantage of the entire feed dogs, the foot is pressed very well against the feed dog. So the movement is very smooth, and with the needle positions you can get your stitch exactly where you want. So I have taken a -3 position so that it has moved a little to the left side, and I can get a very consistent edge stitch because the guide is where I am aligning my fabric. Plus the foot is totally on the 9mm space, which is what this machine has got, and I have no problems in aligning my edge of the fabric to the edge of the foot. So if you are one of those persons who do a lot of stitching which has got a little bit of expertise, this foot is going to be very versatile for that. So if you have a Bernina and you are not aware of this wonderful foot, then you may want to come and try it out at our store and then see if you would like to have it in your collection. Along the edge, and now I'm going to do it all along the back, and the last one will be the one on the bottom. So I'm going to do the sides, and once I do all of it, I will show you the final product. I'll do the bottom because it makes it easier, and it is sitting all nicely inside. So that's the last bit. So the edge stitch foot is making my life very easy because I don't have to do much. I have to make sure that I just keep my fabric along the edge of the guide. And another thing I want to just mention here is you're not actually catching the lining because it's only 1/8 of an inch. But what happens is, because you're stitching this portion, you want to make sure that you don't catch a lot of fabric from the underside. So that is why I am making it every section, so that I get my base. So I'm just holding it like this so that I get the fold. I have ironed it so that we get, I'm not going to catch the base because it is just a quarter of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, sorry. So it's not going to catch it, but this fold is going to be very neat for me to stitch in the edge. So start from the farthest area you can with your needle. You might have to support it a bit when it is starting, which is not difficult because there is bulk, so it will move. And I'm making sure that I have I can hold this seam very easily. This is an optional foot. If you'd like to do these kind of sewing where you want to have the full benefit of the foot with the feed dogs, and yet you want to have a stitch in a particular position, you can move your needle positions to achieve that. Then this is a foot you're looking for. I have just one more side and then we are done with our project, which was a fun project with a lot of technique learning. And that's the last one I have to do, and I'm done with the back, with the carry-all. Doesn't take more than an afternoon, plus you have a lot of fun because you are learning and getting something very, very, very interesting. So go ahead and check out the class and do one for your friend or for yourself. Just to the end of the whole bag making process. So you see how neat it is from the inside and from the outside. So you can fill it up with goodies for your friend or for yourself. And so thank you for joining me for this session, and I hope to see you more in future projects which we do from the Hub and Classic Girls. Thank you very much.